Hey. Mhm. Init. Okay, I think we'll just have to start. Good morning, class, and welcome to the fourth week of our semester school year 2020 and 2021. Well, last week we were talking about two topics about the introduction to advanced database system, and also as well as the entity extended entity relationship diagram. And we have some couple of we have an activity, and that activity is pertaining to the introduction of having databases online, as well as the introduction to SQL Server, and also with the use of Visual Studio. And I believe that meron tayong yeah, there were already six. We take this presentation up. Yes, and there was already six students who have already turned in. However, we still have 36 uh, among the 43 students or 43 classmates that you have. Yes. Kasi nabigyan ng grade. Si Canlas. Nauna kasi siya. And I have to see this one also. I have to see this history ko anong date. April 21. So that was just 2 days ago. I was actually looking for yung date kung kailan sila nagpass. And for the reason of checking kung what particular score I'm going to get, or specific score I am going to give. Anyway, so regarding that activity, sa activity na yun, we are able to create this information with SQL Server, tama ba? Class? Yes.
Yes, sir.
At nagkaroon tayo ng drive para ilagay doon. I think so. Karoon tayo ng drive para ilagay doon yung natin. Yung mga activity natin that is being that is being programmed. So that is SBIT 28, tama ba? Yes, and we have here the laboratory exercise, and I want you to send off yung mga ginawa niyo niya project, and I'm seeing already here my students who have already created that, and some of them are CS code. Hindi. Puros BB code pala itong mga to. Yes, and since may mga may mga value to, I have to look at the MPS which we created in webwiz.com to see or to check kung may mga value na doon, because those projects should fill in the values that we are going to need for the next one activity. So things are quite running good this time. Yan ang pangalan naman. 2A, di ba? Ito yung natin. Let's browse the database. Okay, this is done by means of checking. Of course, it is very important to check whether your data has been transmitted over the online. Kasi it's impossible wala dito. Bakit? Hindi pa ba tayo nag-create nito? 2A. Meron na ba tayo nito, class? Bakit wala na? What happened? What happened?
Sir, alam ko po, nagano lang po tayo. Yun lang sa local muna, sir.
Local.
Opo, sir. Local pa lang po tayo.
So this time we're going to do it here para makaabot tayo. We're going to do it here in this activity. Okay, o nga pala no, sa local pa lang tayo. I was thinking about the advancement ng mga natin, ginagawa natin. And we should just brought it here. Dapat sana, di ba? Well, anyway, this time, since hindi pa pala natin nagagawa, so this is going to be our activity. And last time, let me just check onto that again. Yung activity natin na to should be converted into an SQL Server database, tama? And we have already created that sa SQL Server natin. How about class? Although I
Yes
cannot
po,
see
sir.
your data yet, it is imperative for us to be transferring that SQL database also into the online database. And I want you to learn how are you going to connect with an online database using your program with the Visual Studio. You see, that is very essential in programming. It's getting to know the experience of having your data online, especially that you can access with this data anywhere in the world. Bakit andito to? Ito. What's this data? Okay. So last week, we used the local database para sa connection. Tama ba, class? Yes. Oh, bakit to? Sinarwa? Hindi ba natin connection? Bakit ginagala ba yun? Hindi naman. Hmm. Okay. So let me just take this one up. Asan dito yung database natin? Nandito. 28. Is this the one?
Yes, sir.
Siguro. Yes. Okay. So this is the students table and we need to take the design. Okay, this is the design. Ito yung one natin. We have the course. May course pala dito. It's a good thing that we have the course. So this this database has been recreated and became our very own metadata, and that metadata is also the metadata that we're going to use in our online database. As promised last week that we're going to make it happen to have the database. I've already created the online database niya. At ang gagawin na lang natin ngayon is just to create the tables. You still remember what we did doon sa natin, SQL server natin? You still remember? Yes, how did we create database? Sir, can I also have the connection with my SQL server together with that online database, which is run also within the application SQL Server 2019. Tama, class? Nakita niyo, di ba? So, sinabi ko ba sa inyo last week that we can also connect to that using your SQL Server? That's why it's imperative for you to be installing SQL Server with any versions so that you be able to read the contents of our database online. Okay? So, sir, paano pag SQL ang ginamit ko? Of course, it's a different format. It's a different application na meron din naman tayo niyan dun sa natin, dun sa web quiz natin. I believe that you have seen this one. Okay? Tama? Nakita niyo ba? You have SQL Server 2019 and MySQL 8.8x. Ibig sabihin that it could be 8.9, 8.8, the version or 8.3 versions are welcome to be created and to be connected with the online database using MySQL Server service. Okay, so I believe that you also have to think about the transition of these two databases na pwede mo silang gamitin from this web host. Okay, so the reason why we are using this is because I am paying this web host for us to cater our laboratory exercise, and it's very important for you to experience also the database connectivity online. And we have lots, especially pati pag Oracle. Yung nga lang, the Oracle database is not included in the service. Kasi Oracle have their own online database service, which is not being served by any other web host. Mahal kasi ang Oracle. And they cannot that. And yung mga subscriber nila, iilan lang ang gumagamit ng Oracle database. Karamihan kasi ng mga developers, we are using MySQL database para dun sa mga open source na application, especially the one that is created with PHP and the one also created in either Python or even Node.js. Yan ginagamit nila. They can use also my SQL Server for Windows-based applications. They can also use that. You can use that as well. Pero limited lang yung mga gumagamit din ng SQL Server at ang problema nila, they lack the training of SQL Server, which is very important in the development. So if you know about the development of MySQL with the online database, then definitely you would also like to know the ano, yeah, sabi nila. Oh, may iwan pumapasok. Yung ba yun? Class? Wala ko na message na iba. Okay, saan na ba tayo? So, dun sa database natin. So, yan. Okay. Yan. So, as we have to unfold the mystery of having the SQL Server, sir, but why are you recommending SQL Server anyway? It's because of most of all Filipinos and other companies, especially personal or even company, they try to yet run the application with Windows operating system and as well as Visual Studio for development. And since you are installing that in a Windows operating system, it's important for you to get to know that SQL Server is a Microsoft product as well, and it works with all the operating systems with Windows. When it turns to update, when it turns to okay. When it comes to usage, when it comes to updates and changes, modifications that they have with Windows operating system, of course, Microsoft products works well with the update or changes that they have, or even platform na may bago. Okay, so it's a good thing. Kesa naman gumamit ka ng open source na program and then pag nag-update ang Microsoft Windows, you have to upgrade the the library, especially with Java, so that it would complement the service. Because if you don't do that, well, you might be running that program again. So hindi kagaya siya ng mga ng mga Microsoft product that they work well, especially that you are incorporated with the Windows operating system, and all of these installable applications are created with Visual Studio or even a Windows-based application that sits beside with Microsoft. Then they work well in the environment. Okay. Well, of course, I'm saying about the environment of programs. Okay. So how do we do this, sir? Para natin i-connect yung online database na yan. Of course,
Excuse
you
me.
have to. Ano yan? May
Sir, mayroong pumasok. Salamat.
ito ba? Si Joshua? Sir, pwede pa record na wala. I'm sorry, I cannot record from here. Pero kung gusto niyo i-record yung file, maybe we have someone who would be recording our our screen. Meron ba kayo?
Sir, wala pong audio pag nagre-record.
Walang audio pag nagre-record. Patay. Last time you did the recording, di ba?
Hindi po.
Hindi ba? So how do we record now?
Yes, sir.
Magpaglalagtak kasi tayo pag ako nag-record. That is for sure. Kasi ako yung host ng Google Meet. And kung gagawin ko yan, especially kung may mga ibang doon, so sorry ngayon lang po ako na-admit. Na-admit. Na-admit ka sa hospital? Sino yun? Joshua. Don't know if I'm having an internet connection issue. Well, if you do have, then probably. May we request with the ones with your classmates that has a recording program para sa screen natin so that we can also get back with this lesson. Oh yes. Oh, Amy. Oh, Wesley pala. Amiel pala yan. Wesley Amiel. Okay, thank you very much. And maybe need to proceed now so that you'll be able to catch with everything. Okay. So we need to connect with our SQL server together with that service online. And we can use that by clicking the connect button here, the button here, and then of course the database engine. So it should be asking about the server name. Nakita niyo ba to? Nakita niyo ba to? Server name. And also with the authentication that they're going to have. Okay, this is very important. Very important. And I want you to know about the credentials that we have with the database by clicking out of this one. Okay, so tagal lang mag-open. Yan ang consequence ng. Okay, so we have the internal server and the external server, which is very essential for us knowing and remembering, because this is the server that we are going to enter into the this itong entry na to. It's the server name. So we're going to use either of this kasi parehas din naman ng value. We just have to copy paste this. Yeah, copy paste, okay? And then of course dito kasi this is the sabihin natin, this is the part where you can browse for a service locally or even into the network. But it doesn't actually tell about an online database, di ba? So what you can only browse here are the names of the service of this computer locally, and then the names of services all throughout your network. Yes, it will be routed with the request looking for a service provider of a database, and it should look for a particular connected computer into your local network. Okay, so from that, you still need to click onto this. It will be listed here. Kung meron kayong mga computer that has already an SQL server installed, then definitely you will be looking at that computer here. And since yung computer lang na connected sa akin by this time is just the local server or local service, then this one is the same as this one, this service. So I'm not actually going to use this kasi nga I'm going to connect with an internal server or even an external server, which is casted online. Okay, so if I do that, then I just have to, okay, I have to make sure that I type correctly yung internal server na yun or even an external server online and proceed with my authentication. Now, with this authentication, ang nakacheck kasi sa atin na pangalan ng username is going to be itong pangalan na to. So, I'm going to copy this one as well. Kasi nakacheck yan. And then, put it here onto the login. This is very important because you are not going to get in WebWiz without a username and a password. Of course, the credentials is very important for you to be permitted opening for creation and alteration or modification ng mga data. And of course, our password is going to be ARC Angel 0.0400. And if I click connect here, then if I click connect here, then definitely I'll be looking at if there were errors, it will already be flashed. It will be flashed on the screen. Since wala namang error, then we'll wait for the connectivity. Okay, so you have seen that I'm already connected with the database online. Ibig sabihin, I was permitted to get in and browse the database. It's because I typed the correct details, correct name of server, the authentication with like username and password. Then I was able to get in. So take note of that always. Of course, the database I've already I should be creating is supposedly done here kasi you cannot create your database with my end. This is my end of database. Bakit? Ako lang kasi ang pwedeng pumasok sa WebWiz and you are not able to do that. So sir, paano na ngayon yan? Hindi ba kami pwedeng mag-create din ng database para sa amin? Well, you are permitted, especially creating tables, but I'm the one who's going to create the database. And I believe that you have seen this database. Ito, yung database natin na na-create doon. Tama ba, class? Ito. Tama ba? Hello?
Yes, po, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you happen to notice that, then definitely you are looking at here na wala pang table. Are we good? Diba? So kung titignan natin yung tables natin, okay, it will not be listed yet. Okay? So nakita ninyo, wala tayong table na nag dito. Not like the other table. Okay. And I want you to take note also that itong mga database na to are being created with webquiz.org, and please do not open them. Okay? Baka maban tayo. We have audit trails of logging in and out, and especially yung mga details natin are being saved in the security and also with the management. So if you happen to click one of this, you our name or our account will be detected. So please do not be doing that. As well as yung mga ibang section, do not open them. There's no possibility naman of doing that. Pero yun nga, may sometimes naka-open yung authentication ng iba. So if ever open yung authentication ng iba, do not be clicking that to that, okay? So since wala pa tayo, saan tayo pwede maggawa? Pwede natin gawin dito. Hindi tayo mag-add ng table dito. But the downfall, hindi ko lang alam kung well, it's the same. Kasi dapat ang mga magiging pangalan natin dito is DBO and then the name of our object. So database object table, sana ganun. Um, I'm fond of doing it here. So let me just do it here. Ito yung paraan para maglagay ako. Okay. So if you have seen this one, this is actually the my little admin of database SQL service doon sa online. And for us to create that is to refer to our refer to our metadata, which we have already created way back in the local service. So this is the one, I guess. Tama ba? Tama ba, class? I'm going to go to the sign and copy this. Diba? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Possible na gawin ko dito sa SQL server ko, this local server or this management studio to be placed here. There is a possibility. I'll let you see later on. Pero dito ko na pupunin to. Okay, we have the student ID. So lalagyan natin dito student ID. We have the var character data type, and the length will only have to be 30. Okay, so this is going to be your primary key, and it should not allow none. Okay, and next is going to be your last name, and then it's going to be variant character with 50. First name, so F. Yeah. Final rate, no way. Bakit? First name is going to be a variant character as well, and then it's going to be 50. Middle name, oh no. The middle name is going to be variant character as well, and that is going to be 50. And then student name is going to be variant character. You combine the three, that should be 150. More columns, more columns, more columns, and more columns. Okay, so what do we still have? Address, gender, of course. So this is going to be address with variant character. This is going to be 250 characters. And what's that? Gender, of course, gender. We have gender, we have variant character. So bakit variant character lahat, sir? It's because mas pag yung compression ng characters. If you're talking about string, wala kasi string na data dito sa SQL Server wala. Kahit sa ibang they try to broke it down yung string na yan into variations of character. That's why we have var character. Okay? And gender would only be siguro 15 is, 15 naman yan. And then the course. Meron tayong course, diba? We have here course. And that course would be siguro Valiant Character as well. And that would be 150. And we have the year level. Year level. Yung year level natin, konti lang naman malalagay natin. Oh, why not? Valiant Character with how many characters for year level? Siguro 59. More columns and more columns. Ilan pa? Section name, date of birth, and age. So, oh my God. Section name, yeah. We have here my character 50, I guess so. Section name 50. Date of birth. Date of birth. Okay. Supposedly, I'm supposed to pick the date type, date, you know. But if I click, if I select date, and during my program, I will be inserting data. It would be needing a conversion. Yes, at ang manggagalingan kasi ng mga value ng ano to, may mga problem ng conversion, especially yung pagkuha ng data. And marami tayong format ng date. Sometimes ang format natin by dash, by slash, or by long date or a general date, which is not complying with the date data type. So I fear that it might be prone with conversion, and yet that is not an acceptable format for date data type. So para naman masave pa rin yung information, I will just have to use the var character. So that kahit general date or kahit anong klaseng date ang ilagay nila dyan, it is accepted. Okay? Naintindihan ba, class? Naintindihan?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, so last na lang is the age, which is ito ang input talaga nito is integer. Okay? Naintindihan? So could I also make it variant character, sir? Yes, you can also make it as variant character, but make sure that it is going to be converted into an integer or counting number when your program will have to simulate data from the database. Okay? So I think that we're already correct. We're already good with this one. So I'm going to name this as the students, like the one that we have with our, with our activity. Okay? Sounds good. So let's try to create this. Click create, and then this will be created. Okay. Good news is if I go back to our database, and I'm going to look at the connectivity of this one, and just have to refresh, and then the tables are expanding, and I should be looking at here the one that we have created. Are we good? Are we good, class? Hello.
Opo.
Okay, so I think that I don't think that you're surprised. Kasi, sir, pag na pwedeng ganyan, then we can do it the same as what we did with the first activity. Tama ba, class? Yes. And for me, to be assessing that value is to, siguro maglagay muna ako dito ng value initially. So that you'll be looking at at our own ends, with both ends. You'll be seeing that. Okay, so let's go with edit. Example puno muna yung data sa atin. Wala, matagal. Let's just wait, okay? Okay, so since nakita nyo to last time, nakikita nyo to ulit. I'll be placing here my siguro example na ID 18001, the last name is 189, and Reyes, and then and average is going to be 921. Oh my god, 921. Yeah. Yes, compound. Piano. Roll. Piano roll. Okay. Oh, 27. Versus Caloocan City. Metro. Manila. Okay. Gender is going to be male. Course is going to be a BSCS. And year level is going to be, year level? 3. Yeah, section name is BSCS 3A. And okay. Date of birth is going to be 10/26, 1979. No, section name pala. Section name. Year level 3, section name. Bakit? Na iba. Binago ko ba? Okay, yes, yes. Yes, yes. That's 3. Okay. Yeah, date of birth is 10/26, 1979, which is already 41. Okay. See, nakita niyo ba na inantay na muna niya para ilagay yan? Kasi that will be transmitted here. Okay, I'm going to click this. So, kaya dito. Yan. Yan. And then I want to open this. Open, modify, open table. I should be looking at the same data that has been done in the SQL server. So definitely, if you do this, then you can see it here. Okay? Nakuha? So sir, can we refer to this with a program? Yes, we are going to do that as well. Kasi yun yung gagamitin ninyo para fill upan itong data na to. Okay? Are we good? Okay, so by now, can you, if you have already installed the SQL server, can you connect with this online database? Huh? Class? Na-connect na ba kayo? Hindi pa. Try nyo mag-connect. Hello?
Sir, pwede pa ano sa chat video, sir?
Alin yun? Mga values?
Sir, tama. Tsaka ano po yung password?
Yes, yes, yes. The credentials, you mean? Ito yung server. Okay, ito yung server. Wait, lagay ko dun sa screenshot natin. Yes, we have, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. This is the server. This is the username. It's the username. And this is the password. Yeah. Okay? It should be capital, huh? It should be capital. Yung Archangel na yan. Okay? Are we good? Okay, if you have already connected with that, then definitely you'll be looking at this data as well, or this record as well. Okay, so if you do that, then let's go with our Visual Studio and create another program that is very significant with the connectivity of database online. Init. Aga-aga. So, it's important. Okay. Let's go with the creating another. What do you want to do with this time? C# ulit or VB.NET? Huh? Dalawa yung example natin last week, di ba? VB.NET and C#, di ba? Who's in favor of C# and who's in favor of VB.NET? Huh? Class. What should it be? Hello? Ako na lang pipili.
Opo.
Sir.
Okay, kung ako pipili, let's go with C#. Para naman maiba. Diba? Although nakita niyo na yung C sharp last week, di ba? Oh, let's do it again. Let's do it again. C sharp this time. So let's go with new project, and we go with C sharp. Yes, this is already C sharp, and I have to look for your .NET. Where is that? Ah, web naman pala to. Sorry, this should be desktop. Windows Forms app. Where is that .NET? Yun, Windows Forms app .NET framework. Okay, I'll click this and go to next. And what would be our name format? SBIT ba? BAIT? SB no? SBIT. Tama ba? 2A. And then this is going to be lab exercise 2. Diba? And then your name. Dapat, yun, diba? Are we good, class?
Sir.
Okay, so take note take note dito sa pangalan yung NME actually stands for your name. So yun yung gagamitin niyo na format in creating your project. Okay? So that when the time that you're going to send it to our shared Google Drive, I will be able to see the name of one of the student that I'm going to give a grade. Okay? So click create. Okay, I think that you've already seen this all over again, and we are going to start with the some objects that is going to be placed sana here. But what I've said, we're going to connect with a online database. Okay, yes, we're going to connect with the online database, and we are going to do it here. You still remember yung area for you to browse the data sources? Take note of the name, data sources. May isa kasi dito na halos parehas niyan, which is your Server Explorer. Do not be confused with this. Okay? Yung SQL Server browser could be just a browser, but it's not a data source. If you're talking about here, data source, we're talking about data set. And this data set is different from a server browser. Oo, saan na yung server browser natin? Yun. Okay, kung nakita niyo dito, a server browser, this is already wrong. Okay? Kasi you can be seeing you can be seeing the table, but you cannot drag the table here. Ito ba yun? Okay, let's do this one. Ito. Ay, E naman to. EH. Ano yung cancel? Wait. Kasi naman dito yung kuhan natin. 2A, 2A, 2A. Eh, wala pa. Hindi pa nako-connect dito. Yes, and you want to connect, if you want to add connection here, para doon, there's also a possibility na pwede mong gawin yun dito. Okay, but we're not actually doing it here. Okay, we're not doing it here. Kasi may mga kwan dito. Wait. Okay, may mga ibang database dito that we also work on. Example, yung password is the same as our password. So, here, open. Yeah, I will be able to see the tables, diba? But definitely, I cannot directly put it here. Kung nakita nyo, hindi pwede, oh. Nakita nyo ba? Yung ako na mouse. You cannot drag it here. Huh? It's because you are trying to browse the data. This is only available if you want to open the table definition, and that you want to see yung contents ng na yan with Visual Studio. Oo. Kahit hindi mo na kasi hindi mo na yung open si SQL Server, if you have the capability of doing it here, there is a possibility. Okay? Naintindihan ba, class? Yung nga lang, ito yung magiging parang kwan mo, para magiging para magiging SQL Server Management studio mo. And the reason kung bakit ginagawa natin palagi yun sa SQL Server is because there might have been some limitations set with Visual Studio and SQL Server, especially with the changes of data or modification of data. Sometimes these are not sometimes these are not allowed. They don't allow Visual Studio to be editing data with this end of application. And see, ito, you'll be able to open it. And of course, ang mayroon dito kasi is there were some query that you could also see. You could also modify it here. Yun nga lang. Kagaya ng sabi ko, it's not always been permitted to do this. Ginagawa mo to kung sakasakaling ayaw mo nang buksan ang SQL server. Ayaw mo, and then you can also do, actually you can do it here, do it here, just the same. Okay, so, nasa na nire-retrieve kong information. Okay, anyway, we're not going to use your SQL Server for that matter of tracking, no. So take note SQL or Server Explorer is not the one that we are going to look at. We're going to look at our data source and add the data source. Okay? So as you can see, ito yung mga data na nandoon sa loob ng online database natin. You can also browse it here. You can also make the changes if you want. You can also add or delete. But I'll tell you, this is going to be harmful. Yeah, well, worst case is that you don't have, you cannot open your SQL server, then you could go directly. Okay? So it's an option for you to make. Close this kasi hindi yan ang kailangan natin. I'm going to click onto the data sources. Take note that data source. Where can I find the tab data source? It's actually on the view. You go with toolbars and you go with other windows pala. And you go with data sources. Nakuha? Pag click mo ng data sources, you should be coming out with this panel on the left. Okay? So if you do that, then there are two ways for you to be adding a data set. It's actually click this add new data source or this add new data source. So I click this in order for me to connect to a database. Database service hindi itong service na ito kasi these are actually being used with the XML service or even either the JSON service. That mga scripting equivalent na data that does not have a GUI for data. Kagaya nga nung XML. It's a script data. Object naman, these are sabihin natin yung mga objects like does have that already exist in a program. Kumbaga may mga program na mayroong object, pwede natin gamitin yun. That could happen, pero we're not actually pertaining to that. We're talking about the database that can be our data source. So just have to click next. And of course, when we are connected with a data source, we should be creating a data set. Okay, I click on the data set and then click next as well. And this is the time that you are going to click onto a new connection. Okay, have you seen very familiar yung sa Server Explorer kanina? May ganito, diba? Okay, so sir, how do we connect to that online database? Of course, titignan mo dito kung ano yung data source na gagamitin mo for connectivity. Okay, and you can also change that if you want. Okay, changing that will also list down MySQL and Oracle database. And that is if we have already created MySQL database with the MySQL Workbench or any other database tool management studios like PHP My Admin, MariaDB, or even PostgreSQL or MongoDB. You know, those are actually being inserted here as they are installed into your computer. Okay, so I have here also my SQL, which is very essential. Hmm? So, okay, so, session na class at medyo dito na as I was saying. As I was saying, okay, so you can actually choose a connectivity from this end. So dito kasi naka-default si SQL Server for the meantime. Save na yung natin. So sir, is there a possibility also that I could connect with the MySQL database? That is if we have already created a database along with my SQL database online, the one that we have with Wiz. Okay? So take note of that. So since ito yung default natin, we'll make use of the default. Okay? Just have to press OK. And then dito, so kahit na i-click mo yung refresh or click mo to, you will not be looking at the online database for the reason that this wizard is only for works with the local intranet and also with the local service. Local intranet ibig sabihin dito sa network lang dito sa domain nito. Okay? And you will not be seeing the name of the internal server. Meron naman tayong data nun, di ba? We already have that in our. Okay, nandito naman na yung internal server natin dito. Ilagay ko yun, di ba? Ito. So we just have to copy this. Ito, see. And then I go here, and then Control V. Tama, di ba? And I have also taught you about the authentication wherein it should be an SQL Server authentication. Nakuha? And what should be the authentication? Well, of course, pwede natin lagay dito yung credentials that we have. Sorry, sumasama. Okay, so Control V. And then the password, of course. It's the Archangel 0.0400. Okay? And of course, if I click here, I would be able to list the name of our online database. Okay? So, just have to click onto that kasi ito yung mga na-create natin, di ba? So, if I want to be sure that this one is on the correct connection, then I have to test the connection. If it succeeded, ibig sabihin, we are able to connect with that database into this program. So, by clicking OK, the settings will be created. And of course, if settings are being created, you need to make sure also that you could get back with this connectivity, and that you have to show this connectivity as this connection string. This connection string is very essential when you're doing programs with manual programming. This one is actually the automatic programming, the one that we are going to use dataset. Okay, and I have to click on to the next, and I have to create this connection string. And of course, this one will be populated with all the tables that is already present into our online database. So if I click this, I should be able to browse the students database, which we have already created in the my little admin. Ito, diba? Tama ba, class? So I'll just have to check on the table so that it will be listed. Later on, when we are trying to populate this database with a table, lahat ng mga table naman ng mga na-create natin sa my little admin or even in SQL Server will be listed here. Okay, so click finish in order for me to create the connection in all the with all the data set that I'm going to use for programming. Matagal. Okay, so I think that the connectivity has already been created. You could see it as an evidence here. Ito, yung .xsd na to, which is actually your data set. It's file extension of your data set. This data set contains already the data that is being retrieved into an online database. And just like what we do last week, we try to drag this here. Diba? Boom. Ayun o, mayroon na kagad. Wow. Diba? So, ganun lang kadali. Sir, ganun lang kadali talaga. So I'm going to populate this and then dock to the whole surface. Or wait. To dock the whole surface muna. So what if I'm going to have a search later on? So wait. I'll have a panel para paglagyan ng mga other informations. And then this one will be docking. Okay, dock natin yan so that I will have this space. Okay, this space is going to be needed for some other details of the searching. And then of course the text box is going to be done like this as well. Okay, so set up in the center. Yeah. So I'll be placing an input on the center of this text box. Okay. So how do we do this? Actually, when you drag and drop all of these contents, you're like placing a code already automatically generated. Okay, and also with the same item code, which makes us create or insert a data. So meron na silang mga automatic na code. Okay, so if I run this, sandali, parang naka-on na naman yung antivirus. Lock ko naman itong one na ito. Protection is on. Okay, that's good. Okay, we're supposed to be running the application. And what are you expecting? Okay, you're expecting to see that data that we have already placed onto the SQL server and also to the My Little Admin. Yan, dito. Matagal. Saan na? Wala. Nandito na ba? Where is that? Dito na wala. Nandun. Okay, so why is it that we're not looking? Nagra-run pala. Wait. Let me just stop that. And then rerun that application. Naglag eh. Yan. Oh, bakit naglag? Ay, sandali. Hindi pala yan. Wait. Yung sa design. Eto. Bakit kasi nalagyan? Na overlap. Okay. Yan. Okay. I believe that you have seen this information. Tama ba, class? Yes. Okay, so your activity is to populate this one with your program. Okay, you place your name, and I'll be waiting. If you have done this already, then we go proceed with the programming also. The other side of the programming language. Okay, so you populate nyo yun, okay, with your name, and I will wait. I'll give you a time. This is already 8:14, so maybe we have 8:30 to be looking at your data here. Para sa mga sinusundan nito, it's you should be inserting your data already here, following this one. So how do we insert data? Okay, you run this, and then pagkita nyo sa kanya, you should be clicking onto this. PPM should be 18. That's 0002. And then we have here Sanchez. The data, and then okay, so Sanchez. is and the address is going to be Nigeria. And then it will be mail as well. It will be BSCS as well. It will be third year as well. BSCS 3. And this is 10, 18, 1979. Also it is 41. And that will be it. And I press save. Okay, so this one is already saved into our My Little Admin. And to show you the proof or the evidence is to click on the refresh and look at this. Okay, so if you're able to create that this program, you will be able also to look at the data, especially in the end of this one of your SQL server. All of them, okay, all of us, we will be looking at your data onto one end. Kung hindi SQL server yan, definitely doon sa program mo. Okay, you think that's amazing? I think so. So I'll be waiting for you to do that. You have up until 8:30. And then we get back with talking another one, especially that itutuloy pa rin natin yung programming natin with this one. Okay? Because later I will also show you. How are you going to create commands for SQL with the dataset. Okay? Sounds good? Okay. So we'll pause for a while. Okay, para bigyan yung iba para tapusin. Tignan ko lang kung may ilagay nyo dito yung mga data ninyo. And I would definitely acknowledge that as well. Okay, so if you're ready, then you can start now. Let's talk with each other by 8:30. Okay? 8:30.
May question po, sir.
Ano yan?
Hindi ko po kasi ma-connect, sir, yung sa internet yung
Hindi mo.
sir, ito po yung error na lumalabas, sir. Check ko po sa
Please take the presentation. Diyan may
wait lang, sir. Ito, sir, hindi siya nag-aan.
yes, and click nyo dyan. Right
Diba
click.
ito?
Yes,
Ayan,
right
sir. Yung error.
With server state view permission denied because naka-open kasi yung My Little Admin. Can you do it again?
Wait, sir.
Or baka, wait, nakapasok ko naman. Nakapasok ko yung course ko na itong mga ito kasi ginagamit ko kasi.
Ay, ganun po ba yun, sir?
Oo, may so course is isang wala kasi.
Okay.
Account na kasi. Unless na binigyan kita ng account para
Stop ko na, sir, presentation.
Nakakulit ka na ba? Nakita mo na yun.
Hindi, sir, wait.
May I see your screen again? Diyan may be? Yan. Okay.
Hindi po rin po siya connected kasi yung ito po.
Did you reconnect? Ako nag-con yan. Dahil, ano bang ginagamit mong data?
Ano, sir?
Anong ginagamit mong connectivity?
Choppy po, sir. Di ko po.
Copy ba? Sige. Yung database natin.
Wait lang, sir. Tas tables. Nag-show naman siya, sir, pero pag right click ko, ganyan po lumalabas.
batch executed as a denied deep on public server.
Ganyan din sa akin, sir.
Sabi ko, user mistake permission was denied by officer. Ay, okay, tayo. Na-deny tayo ah. Bakit kaya? Tungkol dito sa connectivity natin. Dahil sa... Ay, nag-restart. Patay ka. Pag i-restart na lang po ninyo yung connectivity nyo, disconnect nyo ulit. Hindi, wala kasi nakikita dito. Disconnect ulit. Disconnect and then connect. Connect. Yes. Sandali. SBIT. Okay. You go with connect. Dapat may parang question.
Wala, sir. Loading. Ayun po, lalabas siya. Pero
Wala.
hindi pa rin siya nakakonect.
Oo, hindi siya nakakonect pag ganyan yung zero. Tama ba yung credentials nilagay?
Tapos, sir, yung password is
nakakapasok ko.
Archangel. Meron siyang problem.
Bakit kaya? This is... Sabi niya.
So, napindot ko yung database diagram. Ito dapat.
Ay, no.
So, same error pa rin po.
Kaya pag itingin yung error dito sa baba, yung may red na yan.
Ito, sir.
Click mo. At parang may unusual transaction bus connection information. Sino nag-configure ng kwan mo?
Sinuwas ko lang gusto yung pagka-install dun sa Tapos po pala, sir, may question. Kasi nung habang ini-install ko siya, sir, hindi po siya malagyan ng password tsaka username. Ito pwede business na po.
Kaya naman pala.
Ito, sir, tignan po po.
Yung kwan, na-configure mo rin dun.
Yung itong sa local, sir, ayaw niya malagyan ng password, sir. Nag-e-error siya. Kaya pag ginanyan ko, sir, wala siyang
walang...
sir.
Sandali. Yung configuration mo ba, nag-configure ka na ba ng kwan mo? Ng SQL Server? Nag-configure ka?
Yung sa Express, sir? Or yung isa pa? So, sa class.
Dito sa search mo, doon sa baba, sa may window.
Ito, sir. Kailangan pa po. Sir.
Kailangan mo i-configure yan.
Okay po, sir. Hindi ko po ito na nagagawa. Kaya pa pala wala.
Gawin mo muna yan. Otherwise, yung panigid na.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Ikaw na, para sa mga hindi nakagawa ng gano'n, you should be okay? So, antayin ka namin para gawin yan. So, how about the others? Yung iba. Were you able to connect with the SQL server? With the online database as well? But take note pag ganun na ninyo, ganun yung message ninyo, kailangan i-configure yun. Napapasok nyo siya. Pero, yung pagbalik niya, yung mga ng data, kailangan na nakaset up yung SQL server, naka-configure yung SQL server natin to receive the data. Otherwise, you won't be opening that. Okay?
Third question po.
Yes, Mr. Vitor.
Applicable pa rin po ba yung configuration kahit ibang version po ng server management?
Oh, yes. Parehas lang sila ng mga configuration ng SQL server. I think that you've been using siguro server 2019, you know?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's good. It works well with our online database. Yung 2012 kasi is a very far version already with SQL Server. Pero alam ko kasi, yung 2012 needs only to be updated in order to comprehend yung version ng 2019. And mas madali kasing i-configure si 2012 kaysa kay 2019. Oo. Kaya it's, I mean, yun yung pina-download ko sa inyo. So if you cannot do that kasi siguro may problem sa version, then you can also install another version of SQL Server, newer, without uninstalling your 2012 because they can go together and they can work together as well. Okay? Ano tawag din namin ba? Okay. So I have to wait. I'll see your data and to my end. Para sa mga nakagawa na, pakisabihan lang ako para makakuha natin. May natapos na ba? Class? Wala pa? Still working on it? Wala pa. Okay, so nga pala, for your information, this program will be sent onto the drive again, and I will be creating another activity for us to be doing with this activity. At yung mga yan, of course, it should be scored. Okay, it should be assessed and scored. Like the one that we have last week. Okay, nakita nyo to? Yung anim. Anong date ba yung ni Crisostomo? This is April 21. This is April 22. April 22 rin. April 18. April 22. April 19. So, pinakamauna sa kanila, ito si April 19, ito si Wilson. So, nagbigay na ako ng grade dati. So, I guess. This is Mr. John Kenneth Canlas. And may mga submissions. Okay, so this is 19. Then let's see. Ito muna. So, ito na una. Okay, Discord. I'll give us siguro 7. And the rest is ito. Ang date ko, 22. 22 yata. This 22. This is 18. 18 ko pala ito. This is also 1. So this one 22. This is going to be 46. 22. Ito. Ano ito? 22 rin. This is 46. Yeah. Isidro. 22 then, this is already 56 as well. Ito, this is 19. 19. 21 pa pala. So, wala namang mga fun. It's going to be 47. Okay, so those are returned and I'm hoping that you should be happy with that. Next week, kasi yun ang due, probably it will be the ako po kung ilang score niya. After this day, it's going to be 45. When you reach Monday, it's going to be 44. When it's Tuesday, it's going to be 43. And on. And up to the lowest score. That would be 40. Diba? I am not going to give you the lowest possible score in 25. That's unfair. Bakit? Kasi you've been doing good and you've been doing it correctly. So I mean to give you motivating grade score instead of giving you just the 25 will passing score. No. Okay. Anyway, that is the only way that I could motivate my students. Kasi wala namang ibang paraan para bigyan pa kayo ng mas this is time of pandemic. It's impossible for us to be giving you a score which is passing lang ganun. Mahirap naman na I know that you have a hard time also dealing with this activity. It is a skill that you're going to brought up after graduation, and this is a good start up for you to be connecting databases with online and also with local. This is just the first step that we're going to do. Actually, marami tayong mga set of databases that we're going to talk about, especially connecting with Oracle and also MySQL. Para sa one, of course, you will also have to experience connecting with Oracle and also connecting with MySQL. That is a promise. That is a promise. And that your programs will have to work with your connectivity. Okay. Bakit nyo kailangan to? Kasi if you're creating a program and you're going to save all the data that is being run by the program, you need a database. And the database, kailangan na hindi yung database na yun na nandito lang sa local, there should be shared so that sabihin natin online kasi yung klase natin and I need to share that database as well. So it's very important for you to get to the online connection. So sir, yung online connection na yan, pwede rin siya sa mga web applications, that is correct. Pwede rin. You can also, we could also create siguro mga web pages later on that could do that kasi meron din naman ako niyan. I have here some web applications or we have a domain already with this one. Domain. And this one, we have just created with my class for tomorrow. Yung sabihin natin IPT 101 with integrated programming, creating applications for web. And this is the name of the domain. It's qcpuit.com. I'm going to type that here, qcpuit.com, and then browse the following. So, nakita niyo ba? Do you think this one is just created for no reason? This is actually a domain. We are going to improve this domain, and this is the first step then that they have into their project. Sending all of this published web into this site. Kasi sabi ko nga, this is a web hosting site, and I've been paying this para dun sa sa training natin or sa skill set natin. Okay? So, if I'm going to go to the login, also login. And I'll be able to log in. And I have here a login that is being served into a mayroon siya. They were able to go to that page and then reroute the page. And we have that database just the same like we do have here. Okay. Doon sa na yan. Doon sa 2D na yan, browse natin yan. Okay, so kung titignan nyo dito, okay, so eto meron silang table na pangalan ng users. And eto yung ginamit ko na pang-retrieve ng information kanina. We have the admin and then admin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can also use the DBA if you want. Para makita nyo maigi. We'll use DBA, okay, DBA, and then it's DBA 1, DBA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Submit. Okay, and there you go, diba? So, ibig sabihin nun that this page is already an online page. You can also browse this in your cell phone. Okay? Browse nyo if you want. This one, qcpuit.com. Na-browse nyo ba, class? Pag na-browse nyo siya, ibig sabihin, it's already working interactively with any other devices. Or from web server already is available all throughout the internet. And supposedly, these are the ideas that maybe we could also work on with your project, especially online databases. It's very important as a training and skill set for you to have IPT or intuitive programming by next semester. This might be the introduction. Introduction lang naman yan. Okay? So much more for that.
Sir, same
Yes.
error pa rin
Same error. Kahit
kinonfigure ko na yung sa... Pero sir, nakapag-enter ako ng data dun sa sa program.
talaga,
Tignan niyo, sir.
oo. Talaga.
Hindi ko
What I'm aftering is yung data na lang
sabi niyo sa
Yeah.
Visual Studio.
Siguro, ay, sandali. Baka yung version ng version ng SQL. 2012 yan eh. 2019 kasi yung ginagamit. You can also download that as well. Yung 2019. Pwede mo rin i-download 2019. Okay, let me just look at that. Sabi niya mayroong banta. Well, using the SQL Server is an option. But yung nga lang, you need to be certain doon sa data and you want to browse. Pwede tignan mo doon sa Server Explorer ng Visual Studio kung pinag-galit.
Saan po yun?
Tingnan ko lang kung yung data mo. Oo, pero na nga. Nice one. Ay, paano yung iba? Natapos na ba? Class? Mael. Mail na. Okay? We're good, John Maverick. Okay, that's actually what I'm expecting. What about the others? Asan yung iba? Asan si Mr. Canlas? Wala yata ngayon na. Absent yata ngayon na. Andito ka ba, Mr. Canlas?
Dito rin ako, sir.
Same din
Same
yung
error
problem.
lang din po yung akin. Opo.
Dun sa Hindi, gamitin mo na yung program para mag-enter. Huwag mo lang i-open. Baka siguro yung version ng version ng SQL Server. 2019 kasi yung ginagamit ko. You can also download that as well if you want to make sure that you're connected with the online database. What's important is that your program is working. Siya nga pala, regarding dun sa sinasabi ko kay Mr. Isidro, di ba sinabi ko kanina mayroon tayong dapat dito Server Explorer. Ito, nakita mo ba? Mr. Isidro? Hello?
Meron, sir, Server Explorer. Wait lang, sir.
Click mo yan, and then I want you to open our the following credential. Nasaan ba yun? Meron na ba dito?
Sir, hindi connected yung akin, naka-X.
Hindi, i-click mo ito. Ito. Tingnan mo to. Click mo to.
Yes, sir, na-click ko po. Tapos ito ay
Pag click mo yan, tatanungin ko yung password.
password, sir.
Credentials.
Ano, sir? Nakalagay sa akin X, sir.
Ha?
Naka-X siya.
Okay.
Ayun,
Yun na.
okay na. Okay na, naka-green, sir. Hindi
Tignan mo,
na-click ko.
click mo yung tables. Tignan mo kung kaya niyang i-open yan. Click mo and then show data, show table data.
Wait lang sir, nag-lag yung
No, bagal yung connection.
nag-respond. Mali pala yun.
Oh, that's fine. Kasi,
Show table data na sir.
ah,
That's why it's not nag-loading. Nag-respond.
pwede sa akin, nag-loading. Oh. Yan. And nandito. Okay, so I think that you'll be able to see that as well. Sige. Meron na ba? Diyan
Loading
live,
pa rin. Loading
loading
pa rin.
pa. Mabagal lang yung internet siguro. But I'm presuming na pwede si kasi pag pinayagan niya si Visual Studio at si SQL Server is hindi niya pinayagan, ibig sabihin yung version ng problema.
Ano sir, meron naman po sir lumabas.
Mayroon. Then you can actually make use of that also. Para hindi like SQL Server kasi gagawin mo na lang yan is install SQL Server 2019.
Okay po sir.
Yun na lang. Okay. So, any problems yet? What about Mr. Canlas? Nakapag-enter ka ba naman data already? Mr. Canlas?
Pa-enter pa lang sir, on lag eh. Loading na loading yung Visual Studio ko.
Sensya na. At yung mga computer nyo kasi is not set for maximum settings. Well, it could be a minimum settings. And yung mga resources niya with memory processor is magkakaroon ng problema while doing the video and at the same time using using a programs that transport data from our online database also with request that can be sent to the database back to your computer. So yung routing ng mga data, of course, you send the request and then it will go back. Coming back is traffic, siguro gano'n. Kaya yun, naglalag. Lalo na pag konti lang memory, 4 gig is not an ideal memory para sa online. It's not. But it could help you do that, do your work only for standalone. Buti nga, nakakapag pa rin yun, nakakapag-browse pa rin yan. Mabilis na rin yan kasi i3 yan. And 9th generation. Yung kwan ko nga 3rd generation yung i3 ko. Pero 8 gig yung memory. Yun lang naman ang difference doon. Pag 8 gig sana yung memory ninyo, o kaya 16 gig, baka siguro mabilis yan. Mabilis yan. But they're not suggesting for you to change the memory panel. Pero if you could change the memory panel by yourself, hindi ko naman kayo dinidiscourage na gumamit lang nun para maging mabilis yung unit. Pero by the time that you're going to return it, you make sure to return it with the correct, with the recent or default settings like your memory, kailangan balik nito. Susoli na. Pero matagal pa na susoli niya yan. Matagal pa yan. Second year pa lang kayo ngayon, still have 3rd year and 4th year. So, but by that time, you have to make sure only that to take care of that, and of course, make it more faster is an option. I know that nilagyan niya ng mga sticker and but you can also modify that. What is important is that you take care of that correctly and properly. Para pagbalik, pero pa rin. Diba? Yan ngayon, yung pa, hindi ko na ginagamit. Kasi pagbalik mo na ganyan, sira pala, then you will be accountable. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same thing. Sinabi nila walang modifications dito. But it's okay. I can modify. I can actually change the memory. Memory lang naman ang papalitan natin para ma-upgrade. It's never a problem. Pero hindi ko na sinasabi dito na caption. Sinabi kasi ni Sir Brian, pwede daw palitan. Well, it's an option for you. It's not actually on my end. Kasi I'm not going to recommend that. Kasi may regulations tayo. When you accepted the laptop together with the tawag doon, para bang agreement natin and rules and regulation. Totoo yun na may rules and regulation. But you can go beyond if you want. It's an option. Para lang na hindi ka mag-visit sa paggamit. Then you make some actions also. Ibabalik mo naman yan doon sa dating setting niya pagbalik. Di ba? One thing is that you don't have to say anything about those changes. Do not say anything. It's your internal one, internal arrangement with yourself. Na, sige, hindi naman nila check yun. Pag ginagamit yun sa bahay, no? They only check for that if you're going to return it soon. Oo. And lahat ng kwan mo, do not be comparing your one computer with other computers. Kasi that would definitely that would definitely dispose the information or disclose the information to everyone. Na ikaw nag-modify ka. That's your loss kasi ginawa mo yan. Diba? So you don't have to compare that with your other classmates or even with the other students na ganun. What is important is you keep the secret on your own. Oo. At ikaw na lang naman na mag-accountable naman yun. Huh? Sabihin mo na by the time na kasi nasira yung memory at ginawan ko ng paraan kasi ako naman nagagamit. Pag ginawan mo ng paraan, huwag mo nang pagsabi. Huwag mo nang ipagsabi. Kaya ikaw na lang magawa niyan. Kasi pag sinuli mo yan, wala naman silang record ng mga ID, ng device ID ng memory eh. Wala sila niyan. Meron lang sila yung yun lang laptop. Serial number ng laptop. Yun lang hindi dapat mawala. Okay? So, those are just the tip as we wait for the others to finish their data. So, what about Mr. Canlas? Nalagay mo na, Mr. Canlas? Oh, yes. Si Alex Ann Morales pa pala nakagawa nito. Good job, Miss or Mr. Alex Ann eh. Kalito?
Miss Sir, Miss.
Miss Alex Ann, my God. Denise, almost impossible. Ayaw nga pala. Bilis naman. How did you do it? Dali lang? Daling sundan?
Oh, sir. Nakonect agad eh.
Okay. What about the student ID? Ito ba yung student ID mo? Student ID mo ba ito? No.
Hindi, sir. Sinunod ko lang dun sa ano.
Do not be following. Yung ninyo. Anong student ID mo dapat?
190715.
190715. Okay. I can do that here kasi this end is the supreme editor. Okay, itong ko na to. Yeah, I can change any value from here. Okay? Okay. What about Mr. John Maybrick, yung date of birth and age? Hindi mo nilagay?
Ay, sir, wait lang. Nakalimutan.
Tanggalin ko na itong dating all data so that you'll not be able to see it in this end so that you'll be seeing all of your data from this end. Na-edit mo ba? Can you edit that into your SQL server? Or dun sa Visual Studio? I think so. Pwede yata.
Visual Studio lang. Pwede sir sa Visual Studio po ako nag-enter.
Visual Studio, okay.
Hindi po sa may server. Kasi hindi ko makakonect.
Yung di ba? Ako mag-edit to 2019 na siguro. Baka hindi pa na-update yung file. May mga update settings ang 2012 kasi for them to comprehend with the SQL Server 2019. And nakita nyo naman dito, it's SQL Server 2019 kasi yung pangalan ng version natin, di ba? So definitely, 2012 lang yung ginagamit nyo. So very far version. Very far version. we're talking about 9 years na 7 years na difference ng version, and we also have 2013, we have 2014, we have 16 and 17, and halos every year yata nagkakaroon ng version. And 2019 yung nakuha ko last year. Wala pa kasi yung bagong SQL Server with the 2021, hindi pa nila na-introduce. Probably siguro by 3 years yung kanila, yung pag-out nila sa market, especially downloading the SQL Server 2019. So yan. So heading up with the we'll just have to wait for your other classmates. Sino ba yung Mr. Calas, okay ka na ba?
Ito na sir, palagay na po.
Sige. Ano?
Baka wala ka ng load.
Wala ka ng load talaga. No, mahirap lang yung connection niya. Yeah, tinalo ka pa ni Alex sa ano. Diyan may break na-update mo na to. I'm going to update this.
Yes, sir, na-update ko.
So ano yung mga course mo dati, John Maverick? Are you from another course?
Hindi, sir, IT rin ako dati, sir, kaso nag-stop ako. Tapos nung nag-return ako, sir, bago na po yung program study. At tinignan ko yung bago.
Actually, 2016 pa nung nag-enroll niya.
Yes po, sir.
We have some difficult times, especially getting into school. Hindi naman yun problema dito sa audio. What is important is you can finish this.
Yes po, sir.
So, yun ang reason kung bakit irregular ka na ngayon.
Yes po. Kung IT subjects na meron ako rin, sir.
Talaga. Or, okay na ba, Mr. Galas? Hello, Mr. Galas. Okay, anyway, so let's just proceed with it. At least may dalawang data na pwede tayong ma-search. Okay, so how do we do searching with the data set? Kasi pag gagawa ka ng code dito, it's going to be hard-coded. Tama? Class? Actually, we have the object already connected with this one. I'm going to close this para hindi makasalapan. So, I'll double-click this. Tignan nyo mabuti Double-click ko to. And I should be seeing this list of metadata. Okay? And from this metadata, this is actually the composition of your table into the database. And I can actually refer from one attribute to another. These are the attributes. Okay, the data set is actually the set of data that you could perform operations of insert, update, delete, and searching. So how do we do that? Actually, from here, there is a default function like get data and fill data, but we're not going to use that. We're going to right-click on the name of this table adapter and click add and then create. Okay, sounds good. So there were three selections, and how are we going to implement SQL command? So it could be SQL command like your select statements in order for you to be loading data, or creating a new stored procedure like your select statement with results like equals, or criteria like may mga mathematical operations, may reserve word kagaya ng maximum, minimum, those are the stored procedure. Or you could also use a previous stored procedure. That is if you are familiar about the two options that I'm talking about. Now, since maybe this is the first time that you will be seeing this wizard or this window, I suggest that you just have to use SQL statements. Kasi yun naman talaga yung talaga kailangan natin gawin, di ba? SQL statements. So, what are they, sir? Like your create, drop, alter, or even your insert, update, delete commands, and also select commands. Those are your SQL statements. Tama ba, class? Okay, and that in order for you to do that is to click
Okay
on
na sir, ang bagal eh.
Tumagal lang. Okay, so, sinusundan niyo ba to? Are you looking at my screen now? Okay. So, pagkatapos ng tatlong selection na yan, at ang suggestion ko, recommendation ko is option 1. Then you go with this 4 or 5 types of SQL command that can be used here into our wizard. So, what should it be? Should it go with update or not updating yet? Should we go with delete? We're not deleting it, and we're not actually. Maybe we can have the default insert method already invoked when the creation of the data set, and that is our default function. Now, dito naka-select na naman si select statements which returns rows kasi ang sinasabi ko dito is that we're retrieving information from that database, di ba? So if we if we create a or we are going to retrieve information from that data, we use the select statement, diba? So from that select statement, I will have to click here next. And of course, the select statement is already here. This is the syntax already, or this SQL command for select. And from the select, I would like to place a where statement. So I'm looking, if I'm talking about where, I'm looking for a particular column which has a value that with my value. So should be where the name of, probably kung name ang pag-uusapan, should be placing here the student name kasi meron naman tayong ganitong column, di ba? We have this one, di ba? And then it should be, okay, so what if my name is going to be like Kaya, Kaya, Brian, and R. So I'll be looking at data. Okay, so ito kasi yung equivalent ng data natin. But this one, I am going to represent this with a parameter. Okay, I'm going to represent this with a parameter so that I could also search for other details. Okay? Naintindihan ba, class? Okay, wait, it should not be confusing sa inyo. I should use the parameter and it should be named after an @ sign, and then of course the student name, which I have to make sure that the variable name or the user defined parameter is going to be just a 3-letter word that could be significant in accumulating data or information. So sabihin natin yung unang ito, yan, STU. Huh? So short lang yung natin. So take note that the equals is would have to be looking for an exact value. So paano pag ang tinype ko lang is Brian? Then that would not be the exact value. Kasi ang Brian is placed on the column for first name. Di ba? And take note of the operation equals. Di ba? At yung column natin na pagkukuhanan kasi student name, which does not complement at all with the data that I'm going to look for. So we change this equals into line. Right? Okay? Naintindihan ba, class? And of course, the like statements have the this one para ma-concatenate yung mga pangalan. And also plus percent and percent. Okay? Okay, so that when I run this, sabihin natin I'm not actually arranging them yet. I'll just have to look for a particular name from a student name. So I'll click next, and this select statement will be created. Yes, and I should be naming the method with the field by STU and get data by STU. Field by STU is that if you are looking at particular data, then you are going to place it as a result into a data grid or even into a data content page or into a data form. And method na kung naman, get data by STU is going to look for particular data exactly and then transfer it as a value very significant for coding. Okay, you're getting a value and then you're looking for a value. Pero ang ginagamit kasi natin dito sa searching is looking for a value and not getting a value. Okay, probably you'll get a value would definitely need to be performing an operation like addition or even any other logical operation. Gagawin mo yung get data. But if you are only retrieving information from that database, it's actually filled by STU. Naintindihan? So, what should we do? Okay, just press here next. So that the methods, these two methods are being created. Okay, it will tell you if it is successful that these methods are created, as you can see, configured successfully, and then finish. Now, you should be seeing it here. Okay. Okay, so perfect. It's actually here. Now, if you're going to hover the name of that one, it will give you the the SQL statement. Okay, so I think that you remember that. So, sir, ano mangyayari dun sa at STU? It's going to be a representation. It's going to be a parameter that you're going to enter into that, and then that would be referred as your input for looking at particular data into a database. Now, how are we going to use that information? How do we do that? It's actually placing it on the, okay, placing it as a code dito. Double-click mo to, and then what you're going to do is, should be this, with the student table adapter. I think that you are familiar of that already. This is actually your students table adapter, tama, di ba? Okay, so from here, and then of course this one, students, I'm sorry, students table adapter, and we have to look for that. And then point, of course, there's another way of having this inherited into this program. Kasi nga, we have already created the data set and we are inheriting all their methods. Remember that we have already created the fill by STU and the get by STU method. At saan po sila, sir, makikita? Yung kinakita nyo, yung pangalan ng table adapter that is already been inherited, just like I said, na nandito. Siya yan. Okay? So what will I do with that? Double click. And then, of course, it will be returned with a name of the data or the name of the adapter na kagaya nito. I just have to copy this. Okay? And then place it here. Dito. And then, comma, okay, the name of the STU. Do you remember the STU? Yung nalagay ko kanina na at STU doon sa SQL statement. You still remember? I think so. Okay, so if you do remember that, ano yung mga value na ipapasa natin yan? It's actually the one that is already being entered in the text box. Tama ba, class? Okay? Then finishing that, we definitely have the semicolon, and that complements the code for retrieving your data. How do I do that? I have to press the run for me to look at that that operation into this. Okay, into this one. So nandito na si Mr. Canlas, John Kenneth. So I just have to place here Kenneth. And then you see, diba? I was able to retrieve the information about Kenneth. Talaga, John Kenneth, isang pangalan lang yan. One word lang. Yeah. Look at how easy this is.
Hindi sir, hindi ko sir. May space po yan.
Okay, John Kennedy. Diba? I can only place John Kennedy if I want. I could also place here, bakit pala wala si John May dito? May John doon, may John din dito. Bakit wala si John May? Hindi nalagay. Ay, baliktad yung John. Magkaiba yung John pala yun, John. Yes, oh, yeah. John Maverick. John Maverick. Tama ba? What about si Alex? Alex. Yun. See? Ganun lang kadali ang natin, ang data set natin, and how are we going to implement. That's why it is easier unto this end. It's easier. Okay? Nakuha ba, class? So that's how you're going to. Okay. So sir, what about the lead statement? What about the insert statement? Yung insert statement natin is already been created. Nandito, pag dinouble click mo to, wala. Saan yan? Ito. Save item. Add new item pala to. Wala pala to. Save new item is already here. This is the one. At meron na siyang code already, di ba? Meron siyang code. So there's no there's no way for you to be coding this. You can also recode this if you want. Coming to terms of saying that this one is already saved, you can also do that. Okay. Recover na message. Okay. If. If I don't want to use it. Condition. Wala kasi pang paglalagyan ng value. Anyway. Okay, so nalagay ko rin ba dito yung tungkol sa last week na data, pwede ka pang mag-take isang data. Kagaya nito, I don't want this one to have an update, an edit. Yan, wala, ayoko yan. Then I need to look for something else that I could place the data. So there's a way of I need to place it on the top, yes, so that I can bakit to? What about none? So that I could modify this one. Yeah. Okay. So I want it on the top, dock on the top. Yan. So that hindi niya ma-occupy that space. Kasi it's just, yung space na to gagamitin ko para sa information. How do I do that? For example, the student ID and so on. Gusto ko si gender, my selection, so I go with combo box. Tama? So yung course, meron din selection, so I go with combo box. So as the year level, so as the section name, combo box, date of birth is already a date time paper, so there is no need for us to do date time paper. And then the age is going to be a number. Should be number. Okay. We go with text box for the meantime. Okay. So you already accomplished that. You click onto the name of the table para magkaroon po ng drop down na ganyan. At yung initially kasi data grid, ito yung data grid. Now, if you go to details, what you're going to do is just to drag them down here. Wait lang. Drag them down here. Tayo na mag-drag. Yeah. I think it's working. Yung palit lang ko na. Yeah. Okay, so you have seen that this one is being dragged here. So if I release this, it will be populated just like magic. Diba? So no need for you to be doing that na makalagay ng dito, ng label dito, and then text box para paglagay ng input. No need. Diba? It's just a matter of placing. Yan. Yan. So muna. And then the address is going to be more, move over. Your course is going to be siguro mahaba din. Your level is going to be just like this. Section name is going to be that long. Diba? And this one is going to be, alin? Saan yan? Yung format, F. The format should be short. Short. Yan. Okay, diba? So it could be like this. So, eto naman, since maliit lang yung walang icon. Yan. Okay. Okay. O, diba? So, it's easier this way. Diba? Class? Tama ba, class? Tama? Okay, so you're not fond of doing this, then probably you will have the idea. May shortcut pala, sir. My God, nung ginagawa namin yung Visual Basic, kailangan tigisa. Di ba? Tama ba, class? Is this the first time that you have seen yung dataset natin na ganyan pala yan? First time?
Yes, sir.
So you have already the idea of doing this. Pwede pala ang ganito, sir. Hindi namin yan alam dati. Do you think Visual Basic does the same? Nakita niyo naman yung interface niya, di ba? Parehas lang sila. Di ba? Then definitely, this would also work with the end of Visual Basic. Just like the way that you have here in C#. Okay? And always take note that C# and VB.NET are the same product of Microsoft. And also product of Visual Studio. So they could do the same. Okay, so how can you save this set? Okay, how do we save this? It's simple. It's very simple. You can also run this, and then okay, you want to add data, you just have to click add, and then place the data here. Yan lang. Nakuha ba? Plus, whatever data that you're going to place here is also being placed here. You want to see it again, so it's 18-001, and I'm going to do it again with IM101. Yes, then the subname is going to be IM101. And then address is going to be 928. Okay. Yes, compound. Yan Road. Barangay 167. 67. Caloocan City. Metro. Manila. Yan. Metro Manila. Then there's going to be, since wala pa akong nilalagay na correction, this is the type here. Course is going to be BSCS. Year levels are going to be 3, and section name is going to be BSCS 3, 3A. And this one is not, it's 10/26, 1979, and that is 41. Okay, if I click on save here, yun, nandun na siya. Diba? If you're going to look at here again, if you're going to run that or update this, it's the same. That happened a while ago. Diba? Diba, class? This is how the data are represented. Okay, by this program. You can also make use of this as a sabihin natin as a shortcut for your program. Shortcut. Ito yung shortcut. Okay? Naintindihan? So how did I attain this? Of course, I use the data sources. That's the reason kung bakit we are able to drag and drop yung mga elements na to, these objects na to. It's because they are already an attribute inside the table, and we need to incorporate them into the program by automatically creating default data. So, sir, paano yung kanina? Sabi mo kasi pwede ka maglagay ng male or female, then I can edit also the items for me to be selecting. Yan, okay. With gender, with courses, in obvious. edit items like your BS, BSCS, CS, BSIT, BSIS. This is going to be computer engineering. Code. Yeah. And here BSIT. Those are the selections that we're going to have. Year level. Probably siguro dito, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There is 5-year course kasi engineering is 5-year course. Section name, siguro, just leave it that way. Dito, sir, paano pag gusto mo na pag-select mo dito, meron ng value dito. There is a way of doing that as well. Okay, so if you want to have that, doing the value change, then you have to disable this. You can also disable this if you want, para hindi na maglagay ng value. So, maglalagay na lang value is going to be derived here so that you won't be pressing keystrokes in the keyboard anymore for year. So how do I do that? Suppose anong pangalan ng object na yan? It's a age text box. See it here? Age text box. Age text box. And text will be the value of your difference of. Okay. So unahin natin dito si big time point now point here. Yan. Minus convert the date time dt picker date of birth picker and value and year. So all of them are going to be converted into a string kasi si text is a string. Yeah. Okay? So that's it. Okay. You run this and you add new and then you click this with 10 26 1979. Oh, 42 na pala. I don't know. Ewan ko kung mga 42 na ako. But I'm still running 42. Diba? So you have seen already how things work with programming. Madali na lang. Konti-konti na lang yung mga ilalagay mo na code. Para makasigurado ka na itong mga ito mabibilakan. Sir, what about yung student name? Would it be a possibility that I could have been placing your name dyan? Of course. It's possible. It's possible. So how do I do that? Probably siguro may kakaroon ako na bagong procedure, bagong function for me to be placing that value. So it should be a place full name. So it should be private, void, public string, set student name. And I have to get a value the string name, string name, and the string name. Okay, so those are the three parameters that I'm going to get. Private string. Wala pang siyang return value. Okay, so if you're going to return a value, you should have a string here, MME typing, and then return MME. Okay. So that we have here the name. Yeah, we're going to have a condition here that if middle name does not exist, is not equal. Okay. Mayroong value pala ang and name natin, that should be that should be concatenated with the following. So NME now is going to be for L name plus space, comma, and then plus your first name, F name, plus your space, and plus the M name. M name. Okay? So, ganun yung on natin. M name for substring. Kasi gusto ko lang yung yung ano to, yung kung lang ilalagay ko, first letter lang na capital ng middle initial. Parang middle initial. So substring that is going to be a starting string of 0 and the length is 1. Okay? And it should be into upper case or the capital letter. Okay? So as here, pwede natin lagay dito to upper. So that it will be on uppercase point to upper. Yan. So how do I use this? Ito pala. Paano pag wala namang laman yung middle name? Yan. Wala namang laman yung middle name, then this one is definitely not a part already. So that is your set student name. So what you're going to do here is to place that in here, right? Set student name. You're going to get the text box 1, point text, comma, text box 2. Where's the text box? Text box 1. It's going to be your last name. Text box point text. This is your first name. First name text box, and then middle name text box point text. So those are the only three that we're going to get, and you're going to copy paste that into the first name, and then also with the end name. So which either dito uunahin mo lalagyan ng value, you'll have to give you a result of doing that into your last name. So this one will be disabled as well, showing you that you're going to automatically derive the student name in coming from your last name, first name, and middle name. So as a result, yun dito, Morales Crisostomo. Oh, Crisostomo is good. Nice work, Mr. Crisostomo. Cedric. Meron na dito. So we also have, we only have 4. Okay, example dito, tanggalin ko na muna ito. No. Okay, so add new here. And then, titignan niyo yung student name natin na disabled na. This is going to be 18-0002. And then this will be Sanchez. Sanchez. Ba't wala? Dali. Nasaan na dito yung Sanchez? What am I doing? Ano ba? Private. Ayun nga. Let's say this. Ba't hindi nalagay? What's wrong? Tama naman, bakit yan? Oh no. Ay, patay ka. Hindi pala pwede. Ano ba? Pag natapos ko ng set, that will be that one. Ano nga ba yun? Student name text box, patulang, may authority. Kaya pala yun. Then just take that out doon sa ako. Pag yung pangalan ko, take it out. Yes. Also this one, yes. Okay, I'll be having another round of that data. Okay, I'll maximize this. I have to add here. Yun. And then I have to make it 18-000, yeah. And then this is going to be one, Brian, Brian, and then Reyes. See? Diba? It's good. And from here, this is 10, 26, 1979. Ano na mga kailangan? This is the name, this is your course, your level of 3, section name. This is BSCS dash 3A. What else? Address. Ito ayoko na na address. I just have to click save. Oh, ayun yan. Impossible. Save na ba? Oh, ayun yun. Yun. I think it's already there. Close ko lang to. And I have to make view flash. Ayun. Diba? Ang siya. This is the one. Diba? Okay, so those are the ideas that we have in the programming with the C#. Kumbaga, it's a skill that you need to do as well. Anyway, I'm going to pass this to you. I'm going to share this to our laboratory exercise dito ba? Number 2, diba? Okay, this is number 2. Ilalagay ko siya dito so that you can have a reference. Okay, so program. It's users. And then Brian, and then source. Repos. Anong section na natin yan? SBIT 1A, 2A. Tama ba? Ito ba yun? NMB. Ay, ito yun, di ba? I'm going to put it here. Yeah. So that you can have basis. Okay, just wait for it to be done. And this time, I'm going to create now another set of that assignment, and then we're going to have here lab exercise. Lab exercise number 2. Working with online release. And here. Yeah, so this one, yeah. And your Jesus costs you about 50. So let's go with 50-50. And the topic is going to be the okay. So I guess this is the one we are needing. Remember, this is another 50 points. So we have here the activity number 1 and activity number 2. Okay. So we have already converted your metadata, which is actually been introduced with this one, and from that metadata, we should be having that. Metadata na yan. I'm going to upload that as well. Yung metadata na. metadata. So that will be, this will be your, this will be your assignment. Okay? This will be your assignment. Itong program na to. If you are already work with that program, you can now upload it here. Dito. Pwede nyo siyang i-upload dito para sa mga tapos so that I could score now. Okay? Naintindihan ba, class? Hello?
Sir, ipapasa po yung program.
Yes, of course. Kapag yung program, di ba may shared tayo na folder? Ito, nakita nyo ba? Send nyo dito together with the name. Di ba?
Sir,
Katulad po nung last time, sir.
Yes, just like the old time, last time, previous time. Okay? So I think that will be all for our activity for this day. Any questions, class?
sir, paano po ulit yung i-drag yung ano? Yung text box? Yung nasundan, sir.
Yun nga, you're going to base your project with this one. Ito. Ang gagawin mo na lang naman is to copy-paste yung mga content na yan. Ilagay doon sa program mo. They're working correctly. Di ba natapos na rin maglagay niya? You can also pass that project right now. This is just a reference of what we have did with what we already did a while ago. So you can actually pass that project if you have already created that project already. That's okay. Okay, it's accepted. Naintindihan? So where can you find that Google Drive link? It's actually here. Ito. Click mo to, and then click mo yon. It will be opened, and you have to click on to the lab exercises, and click on lab exercise. Are we good? Okay na ba tayo, class? Okay na ba? Okay, take note ha. So, tapos na dito kanina sila, may look onto that again. So this time, I should be seeing all your data, the correct data. I should be looking at your name here, and then also look at your program. If they are both existing, then you got a perfect score. That is if you are going to pass it today or tomorrow or by Monday. By Monday. After Monday, it's going to be a different score. Okay? Are we good, class?
Sir, pwede pa umabol ng last activity na alam
Of
ko.
course, pwede pa yun. Nakita mo yung score, di ba? 45 na susunod na. After this day. 40, yes. After this day. 45 na susunod na. Okay? Saan ba yung sinasabi ko? Eto. Okay, so I open the table and look at your name here. Then definitely, you can now also turn in your assignment. You can also already turn in this one. Turn in yun na to. You can now turn in this one. So that I will be able to check as possible. Kasi may mga history naman kayo ng submission eh. Especially on the date. That's why I'm always looking at that. Okay? Bakit? Kasi I can give you a perfect score if you're always on time. If not on time, then definitely siguro continuous score deficit nila. As compared to the ones who've already done that quickly. It's a, para sa akin, it's a, sabihin natin na an additional score if you pass it. It's actually a perfect score when you pass it on time. Or even just the time that we are already done with the activity. And of course, para naman to give credit naman gusto mo nagpasa na nauna, it's another deficit siguro, deficit of 1 or 2 dun sa mga susunod na araw. Yeah. And take note, 2 weeks kung hindi mo naipasa ng 2 weeks is okay. You can still have a score. Okay? So, sir, wala, pasa ko na lang sa kanya. It would be too long na para baka madagalan ka ng maraming activity, hindi mo na magawa yan. Okay? And in order for you to get back with those activity is to browse this drive. Kasi this drive is already your reference for every activity that we are going to create. That is because I want you to do it on your own. Okay? Pag hindi niya nagawa. Okay? Para sa mga nakatapos na, you can now turn in and also upload your project here. That would be the only thing that I'm going to remind you. Para hindi sayang yung score ninyo. Okay? So anything else that you want to clear up? Any questions, class? Before we say goodbye, it's 9:35. Wala na. Wala na ba? Class, are you still there? Diyan po ba kayo? Okay, so what about stop the presentation now and let us say goodbye. Our class is dismissed for Quantum Laboratory. We'll be seeing each other by 11 a.m. Okay? Wala nang questions, then you can go now. Our class is dismissed. Thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you po.
Yung record, paki-upload na rin sa drive.
Sir, may tanong lang po ako.
Oh yes, John.
Ano po, kailan po kaya ulit pwedeng manghiram ng laptop sa QCU?